Hello, welcome to Juliet.Colors. This is my completed pages for October video. Now, if you saw my plans for October, you know I had a lot on my plans. However, most of it was, if I'm done or if I'm in a rut, then I'll do this instead. But even so, I did not get as much coloring done as I would have liked to. I ended up having a lot of computer issues that took a lot of time, and just health issues, and just a lot of stuff that was taking physical time away from my coloring. And I noticed most days I did not even get to color. But it doesn't matter. It's in the past now. I got my computer fixed, so hopefully from now on I can keep it in a rhythm and we'll be able to just keep moving. But let's get into the completed pages for October. So, I'll open up to my list that I had. And you can see, like, I didn't get much done. But I did add a few along the way. Different books, new buddy colors. But we'll just start going through them. First one I have is Year of Witches. Now, I did not get the page I wanted to done. However, I did start to practice testing some markers on the paper in this book. And I did this little pumpkin, and I love the way that little pumpkin turned out. Like, that's one of my favorite things about this month, is that beautiful little pumpkin. And then this is the page that I wanted to color, Reading Tea Leaves, but it's actually getting pushed to November. So now you'll see this in my November plans. And I'm buddying with Julianne at Julianne Annette Art for this page in November. And this is Year of Witches by Yusiko. Sorry about that. Let me set this to the side. Then I actually forgot until I was over there looking a little bit ago. I did this page here in the Hidden Creatures coloring book by Ace Balco. And I didn't do anything crazy here, but I just colored him different than all the rest. You can see I used, sorry, the light is a little silvery gel pen on his wings, and then the rest was just black pen marker and yellow marker, and it was just water-based Stabilo 68 pens is what I used on this. And I debated going back and forth about whether or not I should do black and yellow on each, or just the yellow, but I think I like it with just the yellow, with these little, like, black seed looking things in amongst the cones. I like this book a lot. It was a lot of fun, more fun than I thought it was going to be, so I'm sure I'll be picking this book up again soon. Then I needed to practice my alcohol markers, so I bought a few comfy and cozy coloring books over the month. I'm probably not going to do a haul, but I might do a comfy cozy book video. I'm not sure yet. But I did buy this one, and there's no author. I can't find any information about the author on this, and I'm going to go back and look and see if I can find the publisher on Amazon, but there's nothing listed in this book. So, but the page that I did is this one. And I was trying to match the front as much as I could, the colors from the front. So that's why it's these darker browns. Plus I was using a smaller set of alcohol markers that are older. I was using an Ohuhu art marker illustration set, and there is the 48 set, and they're triangular barrel. They have a harder, thinner brush nib and a chisel. So I was using those, and look at that, it's already yellowing. Can you see that on that page? I need to put something around this before it ruins the other pages around it. What did I do with that? Let me pause 1 second and get paper for this. Okay, so I just got I bought some of this, pastry wrapping paper from Amazon, and I just put a sheet on each side for this. Did it make a mark over here? No, I made a mark over here. Oh yeah, it did. It's yellow on this one too. Man. I made marks on this, but you can see still. There's a big yellow swatch there, and there. And then on the back of this page, did it go across to the front? It didn't bleed into the front of this one yet, so that's that was an Ohuhu set of markers. I just did this a couple days ago. It hasn't been very long. So, anyways, okay. Comfy and cozy. The next one I did was in witches, and I was doing the same thing in this book where I was testing mediums. So I did the front page, and there's a color along for this as well. And I had fun doing this, actually. I used Castle Arts Soft Touch pencils, and I was trying to match the colors from the front of this on here as much as possible, which I think I did an okay job. Not perfect or anything, but I did a pretty good job for matching pencils. But I did have a lot of fun doing this page. And this one, we had one picked out as well, which I think it was this one, the Seance, and I didn't get it done either. I'm probably going to try and get that one done before in November. And this is the book that has the one ripped out that I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to ask Yusiko which one it is. Yusiko which one it is, and see which one it is, so that I can know if I really want that page or not. Maybe she sells it in the PDF and I can get it. But that is Witches and Year of Witches by Yusiko. The next book I have was Seasons by Hannah Carlson, and this is the book that the group is working out of for Hannah Carlson. It's just the Hannah Carlson group on Instagram, and I think it's led, who did I say? I wrote it down just a second ago. It's led by, oh, I didn't write it down. I think it's Doodle Robot, but I'm not positive, which that would be Doodle Robot 42, I think is her Instagram handle. This is the page I started because it was the one that was due September 30th, but I really wanted to do this page. Regardless, I got the book after September 30th. So I thought, and there's 2 months in between when the next one is due. So I thought, well, I'm going to try and catch up and do this one in October, and then do the one that's due in November for November 30th. But I did not get it done. But I think I'm gonna, because I really like this page. I'm really excited about it. I loved Maya, Colored by Maya's page. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. If you have a chance to go back and look at her page on her channel, it's really pretty. So I'm kind of trying to use hers as a reference and go from there. So this is a whip planned for November, and then this is the page that's actually planned for November. This acorns and mushrooms, which I think I should be able to get that done as well. Now that, you know, my computer situation is all working better. Let me turn this up a little bit. It's late, so the lights are out, so I'm trying my best to share without having all the lights on for the dogs to go to sleep. So, but that is Seasons by Hannah Carlson. Then I also started a page in this Halloween special. I was so excited about trying to do this page. I was trying to do something different. I was very successful and unsuccessful at the same time. So this is Coloring Heaven. It's the Halloween special for this year. It's number 19, Puss in Boots, and it's a coloring book cafe page. My cat's blue. She's supposed to be black, but she's blue. I watched a video with a watercolorist, I think it was watercolor, where she used blue watercolors and no black to make her bird, a raven, look black. And that was what I was trying to do with colored pencils. However, I think the set of colored pencils I was using, which are the I think I was using the Sioux Color 72 set of pencils. There's not a blue dark enough to do this, I don't think. So I'm gonna have to probably go to my Prisma colors and polychromos and see if there's a darker blue and try and layer over that, and then probably I'm gonna have to use black to get this blue tone down. But I do really like this page, and I'm planning on fixing it. It's just figuring out how to fix it. If I can figure out how to fix it without using black, I will be ecstatic. But most likely, I'm going to have to use black. But, so this is Puss in Boots by Coloring Book Cafe in the Coloring Heaven Halloween special for 2024. Then I also have in Mythagoria, Poison and Passion by Alessandra Fusi. This book is gorgeous, and I am going to do the Mythagoria flip through. I just got the last book. Actually I didn't get it. I just bought it, so it should be coming this week, and then I'll be able to do the Mythagoria flip throughs that I promised. Let me make sure I wrote that down. Let me pause for 1 second. Okay, so back to this. So this is the Headless Horseman in the Mythagoria Poison Passion. I'm not done yet, obviously, and it's in the ugly stage right now. My pumpkins are the only thing that are done. Or my pumpkins. And these are the colors I intended. I was trying to do the pink pumpkins for October for breast cancer awareness. But I haven't finished this page yet. Plus, they would also count for my how many pumpkins for Meg makes coloring corners, how many pumpkins, hashtag. So this will be one of the first ones I finish next month because I'm ready to finish this one. All I have left is the pencil work and maybe a little bit of marker on my guy here, but it's just all pencils. And for the pencil work on these pumpkins, I used the Brunzeal 72 set, and I'm going to continue using Brunzeals as long as there's the colors I need. And then the background marker base is the Mon Ami markers, which is it's these markers. Mon Ami Color Twin brush. Oh my gosh, you guys. They have the most glorious nib on this thing. They're so smooth. And there's a second one, and it's just a little bit smaller. I love these markers. They can get into tiny spaces. They flow really good. They can make a big swatch. I don't know why I always say swath. Is that a word? Swatch of area as well. And there's a pastel set, and I'm finding that I like the pastel set for basing on pages that are double-sided, especially because they don't really, I mean, I bled through a little bit on some places because I was going pretty heavy because I was tired, but I like these for double-sided books. Like, I'm probably going to use these a lot in the Kirby books. But this is the Headless Horseman in Mythagoria, Poison, and Passion. And you'll see that again next month. Next one was Petite Sorcières. This was the first page I started this month, and I got kind of sidetracked. So I wanted to do the page where she was crashing. If you remember, she was like crashing into the scarecrow, into the ground. I love this page. I think it's so cute. But I struggle with alcohol markers. So I was getting frustrated with the markers, and I kind of just let it sit for a while. So now I just need to come back and finish it. I have a little bit of more alcohol marker work to do, and then pencils, and maybe some paints. I don't know, I might change this into like a truly mixed media page. I haven't decided yet, but I really do still like this page. I just got irritated with my alcohol markers. So that's Petite Sorcières, and it's Jean-Luc Guérin. Then you probably saw this book on with Francisco. So I gave him one, and he got the one that actually had my first page in it. So it's Witchy Vibes by Jade Summer, and I colored this page here, but it's in the other book. So if you watch my video where Francisco does his completed pages, you'll see that page in it. But I'm gonna redo it, so it's done in this book. I really do like this book, and I'm using it to practice alcohol markers and shading and all the things, and it's a nice, cute book. another one where I'm practicing my alcohol markers is Enchanted Faces. The one that and it's the Hanalin, and this is the pocket size one. The one that I did this month was the mermaid. I knew she was a mermaid, and I thought, oh, this is a dragon. No, it's probably a sea dragon. But I made or a seahorse. It could be a big seahorse too. I don't know why, but I made the water brown back here, like it was ground. And then I was looking at it later, and I'm like, wait, that's her tail. Like, it's got to be water. She's got to be in the water. So I tried to go back and take the brown off and make it ground, or make it water with some blue, but I was not completely successful on that. But for the amount of brown that I had there, everything was like this color. And I took all that out and put a little bit of blue, like an actual little bit of blue still stuck. So I'm proud of myself for being able to get that out of there. However, I'm irritated that I messed it up like that. But that's what this book is for, practice. And then also, her face looked so good. And then I got a piece of red from her hair on her cheek here. So when I tried to take it off, her rosy red cheek turned into a rosy red rosacea patch. And then I had to match it somehow, so I tried to make this rosy red, more rosy red, and then they weren't blending. By then they were dry and it was a mess. So her face is a little bit of a mess, but I like her eyes. I like her tail. Like, I did a pretty good job about staying in the scale that I was in. And I love her hair. I love doing this. It was a lot of fun trying to do the shading and figure out where it would be shading at, lighter, highlighting at. Although, what is this? Another animal or a claw? A foot? A paw? I don't know. And then, what is this? Another paw? What? Like, I started getting very confused on what this was and what this was. I don't know. And then, this is a, like, mountain range back here, right? Mountain range with trees and then the sky. Like, am I wrong? Or is that's what that is, right? Because that, I think I saw the mountain range and I was like, oh, land. And I just started doing land and then realized, wait a minute, no. So I think this is supposed to be like a cliff. Sea cliff? I don't know. I'm not sure. I might go and ask Hannah Lynn what it was supposed to be so that I can know if how I should have visualized this page, because I really like this page. I love it, but I know I screwed it up because I don't know what those things are. And then I choose the wrong colors for the seashell. I was trying to make it look realistic, but it ended up just being ugly on there. So I need to do better on the seashells like that next time. But this is by Mermaid and Sea Creature in Enchanted Faces by Hannah Lynn. Do those have names up front? Oh yeah, they do have names. So what's her name? Let's see. I mean, you think it's not too hard to find because it's a big creature on the page, right? Oh, maybe not all of them are listed in the front. Oh, there it is. Sasha and Jeff. Or Jet. Sasha and Jet. That's what that one is. Sasha and Jet. Then the next book was Dark Art Supernatural, and this was a buddy group. Actually, I'm sorry, the Headless Horseman is a buddy group too. I will include those in the video when I edit. I will put that in. I haven't even seen very many of them yet, but the ones I have seen are very cool. You'll like them. But this one, so this one was also a buddy, and this is a Wendigo in Dark Art Supernatural by Francois Gautier. So this is my interpretation of a Wendigo. So a Wendigo is, if you watch the video of me coloring, doing the color along, you'll hear the story, or not story, but definition of a Wendigo. I decided, whenever I first saw this creature, I was like, he needs to be like pink and fluffy. But then later, after I heard the definition, I was like, oh yeah, he definitely needs to be pink. So the definition of a Wendigo is this creature that was created by a man eating human flesh, like becoming a cannibal, and then that man becomes this creature. And it's a Native American Algonquin myth. And I believe the Algonquin tribes, they spread across the entire United States, but a lot of them existed in some harsh environments where winter would be very harsh. So to me, having a myth or a fable, parable about a human turning into a monster after having eaten another human does not sound like something out of the ordinary. Because, you know, our fables, our parables are made up, basically a lot of them, to protect us from harm from ourselves. And that's what this would have done. Because, here's my little science bit. Connie will be proud. I did a little, well, my engineering side comes out. So if a human eats human flesh and that's their diet, they do not have the correct proteins to make more protein in their body. So they'll basically waste away, but their body will make this other protein that's not usable, and it mostly ends up in the brain, and they're called prions, and then it causes a lot of mental issues and disease of the brain. So it's like mad cow disease. That's basically what prions cause, is mad cow disease. Like, same thing for humans, right? How that was happening was cows were eating cow, and then they were getting these prions in their body from creating proteins from their own proteins. So that's how I envision this guy. Is he's a product of the Algonquin people trying to warn themselves against cannibalism and the effects of it for those very harsh winters and harsh times that they had to survive. I painted him, or colored him pink, because I pictured this as bone marrow. Like, he eats the bone marrow of the human or whatever. I know this is gross, but it has a meaning. He eats the bone marrow of the person or human, but it's toxic to him, and it creates these prions. And so that's why I have the bone marrow creating this pink hue to his body, but it's toxic and causes these green blister boils, toxic boils all over his skin. basically the prions. So that's how I envisioned this creature, and so that's why I colored him pink, and the things around him. So that is my Wendigo, and everybody else's are really cool as well. I will show you them here, and the lists of people before we start the slideshow of the pictures. Candace from Happy Catastrophe, Dana from Dabbler D is Dana, and then Emily from E Art Studios, Julianne from Julianne Annette Art, Paula, the coloring mom, and Jenna, the fiction kitten, or kitty. And that's the Wendigo buddies. And that's in Dark Art, Supernatural, by Francois Gautier. And FYI, if you don't know this already, I found out that the UK version of these books is bigger. So I think I'm gonna go and get the bigger versions, because I enjoy these pictures, but sometimes they're just so tiny. Just so tiny. So I might go get the bigger ones just so I can do both. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just print it out, copy it, print it out on bigger paper. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But that's Dark Arts. Then we had another buddy group in A Million Little Monsters this month. We had so much fun in October that we decided to do, September, that we decided to do October as well. And the page we picked was the pumpkin party. So this is my pumpkin party, and you can see out here on my background there's some trick-or-treaters that heard the party and are coming to investigate what's happening inside this pumpkin on the table outside the trick-or-treat front door. So that's my story. Sorry, my phone went. That's my story, is that the trick-or-treaters are going up to this front door, but they don't know that this group is having a party inside this pumpkin. And it's a secret, right? Because these creatures don't necessarily associate with humans, right? Other than the cats. On a very minimal level, right? But, so they're trying to be quiet on the table in the pumpkin, and Mr. Purple Pumpkinhead hits the tambourine. Then everybody else, it's just like, oh my gosh, what? So now they're all trying to be really quiet and really still and not move at all, because these kids are all looking at the pumpkin, coming over, peering at the pumpkin, trying to see what's happening. So that's my story. I originally started this page with some water-based markers, and I used the marker directly on the page, and I should not have done that, because now all of my colors are really dark right off the bat. So when I tried to do some shading, it was just way too dark, and I couldn't shade properly, and it was frustrating. And instead of putting one layer of color down with one color on each of the different things, I actually put the two colors in the markers and then one color with the pencils, which really, what normally people do is they put the base color of whatever marker down, and then they shade with multiple pencils. So I did the opposite, and especially on this page, it did not work. Did it turn out okay? Yes. So I still like it? Yes. But I know from now on not to try and do shading with markers when my intent is to base something. Now, it's different if you're trying to do a marker piece and you're shading with those markers. That was not what I was intending. I was intending just to use it as a base. So it got too dark for mine. But I still like it. This one also meets the, what is it? 13 for Halloween hashtag with the cats. I believe cats was an item on the bingo. So that's what that one. I think that was Dabbler D doing that hashtag. And again, I can't remember until I go to look stuff up and write it down on my descriptions and stuff. So anyways, let me show you everybody else's pages, which are very cool. Some of them are really, really cool. And this group is Candace from Happy Catastrophe, Dana B from she's Dabbler D, Emily at E Art Studios, Hannah Renee Art, Julianne at Julianne Annette Art, Michelle C at Kits and Caboodles, Libera at Coloring and Relaxing, then I have the old Halloween special from last year for Coloring Heaven, and there were some Carla Magana pictures in here, and it was before I had any Carla Magana coloring books. So I decided to do this Belle Pipistrelle page, which I thought was so cute. So I love it. So the background is a dark blue metallic and purple metallic tempera paint sticks. Thank you, Connie, at Coloring Chemist. And I used alcohol markers as the base everywhere else. And for shading, I really didn't do much shading. I just did base color, pretty much. And then I used a white gel pen to make these like puddle looking wet areas on the tombstones, and highlight marks on her face and on her body, some on her skin. And then I used a Spectrum Noir glitter pen, clear glitter, for the wings on both of them and on her skin. I used that. But I had a lot of fun trying to put the shades in her hair, just like I did on the hair on the Enchanted Faces mermaid, Sasha. And I enjoyed this one as well. So after I did this page, I went and ordered the Graveyard Girls and Tropigoth. And I just ordered Glam Noir to start the new hashtag if Christina at Christina's Art Corner decides to do that. So that is Belle Pipistrelle by Carla Magana, in Coloring Heaven 2023. Then, this is one of the first ones I did actually. Let me get it out of here. I have the PDF version of Any Day Autumn Vibes. So I did this as a buddy color with Julianne at Julianne Annette's Art and Candace at Happy Catastrophe. I had a lot of fun doing this. It was based with alcohol marker, and I used Prismacolor pencils. Is that right? Yeah, Prismacolor pencils to shade everything. And then I used Yono and Posca pens and Guangna metallic Posca pens, and then a white Yono pen marker, and a white gel pen, and a black Sakura glaze pen, and the Spectrum Noir clear glitter pen. And then these dots are from the Ohuhu dot pens markers. Those are fun markers, and Zig actually has a set too, and they're fun as well. They're just a lot more expensive. So, for my purposes, the Ohuhu ones were okay for what I use them for. But I had a lot of fun doing this, and then when I was finishing everything up and I was making these dots, so underneath them it's silver and it didn't show up very well, so I was changing them to white. And when I was changing them to white, a big blob of white paint plopped out onto her face. So you can even see it still, like on her nose. You can still see like bits of white paint, and in her hair right there. So I had to clean this area up and redo it all with pencils and paint pens and marker and whatever. And so I was afraid that this was going to be a disaster and I was going to have to start over. But it ended up being okay, and I made it, so that's good. So this is Any Day from Autumn Vibes, and then Candace and Julianne's Any Days are awesome as well. So here I'll show you theirs. And I love Julianne's background. I think she blended it so cool. And I love the colors that Happy Catastrophe Candace picked when she was trying to match Wicked. I thought that was really cool too. Get this in there. I also had a buddy in Dark Fairies. It was a buddy group with Happy Catastrophe, Candace, and Christina from Christina's Art Corner. We did, this is Dark Fairies by To Breath, and we did the Trick or Treat fairy. And this is her. I love the way she came out. I think she looks awesome. I was nervous at first. After I got the pumpkins on there, I was very nervous. I based everything with alcohol marker, but I was using this. Oh, I need to show you something else too, but I'll do it at the end of this. I was using this color palette, which of course fell off my table and my dog took a bite out of it. But I knew I needed another color because of the greenery, and I wanted to use yellow to get them to glow. The pumpkins, the jack-o'-lanterns. So I added the yellow and the green, but I used this palette for everything else. And, well, yeah, the grays was this palette too. It was the lighter colors of this color here. Everything was alcohol markers, the Honolulu markers. And I did base and shade with the markers on the pumpkins. So that's why you can see like it's a very obvious difference between the darker areas and the lighter areas. It looks okay. I would have liked it to shade better, but I did it wrong. I was supposed to base with one color and then shade with pencil with multiple colors. So that was my error, and I know that now. But I did do the dress correctly. So I shaded all these little areas with colored pencil, and I did colored pencil up here, and then I added some glaze in her hair to make it darker. And then her hair up here has glaze in it too. And then right here and on her belt and her shoes is gold gel pen and the black alcohol marker. So I'll just bring this up close so you can see like how much shading is actually done on that. There's a lot of little shaded areas and a lot of little areas where I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Like holes. There's like holes in the hat where the pumpkin shines through, or the leaf, and so and it's the same way down here in the dress. So, and it was just a tedious effort with the alcohol marker, but once you got the alcohol marker down and the background kind of down, you kind of knew what the rest was. So let me show you Christina and Candace's pages, which they were both incredible. They're such good artists. I am impressed every time I see any of their pages. And since I used alcohol marker, I'm just going to put this in here so my page doesn't get ruined behind here. Okay. That is Dark Fairies by Tabreth, the Trick or Treat fairy. And this was one of those ones I just did to keep my brain alert, but not so crazy. But let me show you first. For the pumpkin party, I used this color palette. Let me see if I can get it here. And I think it did still come out pretty good, the color palette. I mean, I think it worked. It did what I wanted it to do, but everything was just so bright. I was trying to get things down in this lighter range, but everything really just did come out as bright. But that's okay. It was fun. So this is Haunted, the Creative Haven book by Angela Porter for this year. And this is the page I did. And I basically just did this with acrylic pens as an exercise to stay within the lines. There was no rhyme or reason to the colors, nothing. I just was trying to stay in the lines and not go over them. Try and do clean lines where I'm not stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting. So that was my goal with this, was practice basically. But it was so much fun. So I'm sure I'm going to do more in this book throughout the year. And the more of these kinds of doodle animal, doodle whatever books I see and pages I see, the more I do, they're so fun. So I have gotten a few more doodly kind of books, and so you're going to see more of those as we go through my life, I guess. That's Haunted, Angela Porter, in the Creative Haven. And then I did another one where I just needed to turn my brain off. I got the Color by Number Spooky Houses by Alexandra Francis. I did this haunted house, which I thought turned out really good. I loved it. It was so much fun. And I'm going to do more of them. So you'll see more of these as well throughout this season. But that is Spooky Houses, Color by Number by Alexandra Francis. I also did a mandala in Floating 3D Mandalas, an adult coloring book by Tabitha L. Barnett. I did this mandala for Meg's Disney Mandala Challenge from Meg at Meg's Coloring Corner. This is the color palette of Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. So I used those Mon Ami pens, markers. And you can see I did the same thing here where I didn't blend it very well. What I did was I went around with the one color, and then I was coming back around with the darker color, realizing, oh, I should have done one whole block at a time, or whole shape at a time, because it was set in the paper and dry and not blending again after that. So that's why it does not look blended, is because it didn't blend after I let it set. But I did also add gray, so these here, and there's gray around these. And then I added black, and these are all black ink pen. I think I used this scroll. Where is it at? I am pretty sure I used this scroll brush from Zig, but I used the brush end. So it's the Zig scroll and brush, and I used the brush end in black. And then these spots here, I did them red, and then I was like, wait, Maleficent's really magenta, not red. So I went back and I covered these areas with magenta acrylic marker pen. So that is my Maleficent mandala from Floating 3D Mandalas from Tabitha L. Barnett, meeting Meg's Disney Mandala Challenge for this month. Earlier in the month, I think this was the first page I did, where one of my dog sitting clients, actually, and friends, they put this in the bag with the dog food and stuff, so, for me, which I thought was cute. So I did this. This is called Express Yourself, a mindfulness coloring book. And I did this page here. I used colored pencils, and I'm pretty sure I used... Which pencils did I use? I can't remember. Castle Arts, I think. Is that right? Let me look in my color journal real quick. Did I write this one down? No, I apparently did not write this one down. Unless I wrote it right in here. Nope, didn't write that one down. So this was, I'm pretty sure it was Castle Arts though. But it was a lot of fun doing that. I was going to use acrylic marker and color up the lines, but I did not have a set of acrylic markers that had these colors and that was opaque enough to color the lines. I did try, like you can see down here near her ears, I did try to cover up some, but it wasn't covering, so I just let it go and decided not to do that. But I just used pencil the rest of her skin. So that is Express Yourself Mindfulness Coloring Book. And I don't remember who this was by. Marive. Down here it is. It's an Australian design. I did not know that. But so that's Express Yourself. And I also did one page in 50 Spellbound Woodland Scenes to color Camellia Angel Calva. I did the little floating ghost girl with the bats and goats and stuff. I did a color along for this. So there's one on the website, or not website, YouTube. I used Kuretake granulating watercolors, Gonzai Tambi granulating watercolors for the background, alcohol markers, Ohuhu Honolulu alcohol markers for the base, Guangna acrylic markers for covering up the lines and line work, and these kind of things as well. And then I used the Guangna Super Golden markers for this red anywhere. And I didn't use the red right off the marker. I pumped some into an old, I use this as a little paint bowl basically, into an old medicine cap, and then I used the paintbrush to put it on the page. And then I also used a Sakura glaze pen for their horns and stuff like that. This is a super golden marker as well, a golden one. So that is my little ghost girl in 50 Spellbound Woodland Scenes to color. And this one also met the 13 for Halloween bingo challenge with the candle. Excuse me. Two more. I finished a page in Mine Herb's Bazargang, My Autumn Walk by Rita Berman. I absolutely love this book. And I did the page with the spider webs and the pumpkin patch. So I used Prima watercolors, the Odyssey palette for the background and the pumpkins. And then I used the Bronzeal colored pencils for all the pebbles. I used a black, I think that same Zig scroll marker to darken the spider webs and any little twirly things that I wanted darker. And I used a white gel pen in these circles to make dewdrops. So that's what these are on the spider webs, is like little dewdrops. So I tried to make them look like dewdrops as much as I could. They're kind of tiny to do that. And with the brown background, it kind of just diluted them a little. And then I also I did the background, all the dots on the background with watercolor, water-based markers. So that is my pumpkin patch in mine Herbst Spaziergang by Rita Berman. Then I just needed some brain ending stuff. So I did a couple pages in Spooky Halloween by Such and Such Deva. Deva, a super cute color by number. I did this page, which I thought was adorable. And then I did this page with the mummy, which I also enjoyed. So that is Spooky Halloween, super cute color by number by Such and Such Diva. And that is all. So let's count. Let me make sure that's all of them. Yep, that's all of them. So let's count. 1, 2, bring my books up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 pages. So, I actually did more than I thought I did. And I have how many whips? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whips. Well, and then I think I still have one. I have 6 whips, and then I have another one in Cosmic Spirit in addition to this one. Where'd it go? I have the ones you saw, plus this Aries one, which I'm just holding on for a little bit, and then this Empress one, which I want to finish, which I'm going to do this immediately because I want to see it done. So pretty, I can't wait any longer. So I have 6 whips all together. 18 pages done, 6 whips. It's not too bad for my second month doing this. But I figure we'll start and do a coloring book plan for November and December together, maybe. Because I'm going to do a big one, sort of like I did last time, but I've pretty much already got my pages picked because I kind of want to do the same pages. So we're just going to kind of do a review and pick a few more for the season and different books. So that's my plans, and thank you for sticking around with me. If you made it this far, put a skull or skull and crossbones or a witch in the comments emoji, a witch emoji. I really appreciate you sticking around and listening to my finished pages. If you have any advice on how to make my cat not blue, I'd appreciate it. And don't forget, I will be posting a lot of the videos that I thought I lost. I found bits and pieces, so I've been working on piecing them back together so that I can post those, edit them and post those in the next day or two. So I appreciate you looking at all those as well. And check out my community tab. I have a question on there about karaoke coloring and if that would be something people would enjoy. So please go answer that question. And if you want to buddy with me, just let me know. My Instagram and all my information for Facebook and all that is in the description of every video. Or if there's a certain page you would like to see me color, then just let me know and I will put that on my list to color. Or if you have advice for me, I'm good for that too. So thank you so very much. Please like and subscribe to my channel and share with anyone you think would be interested in watching. And I will see you later. Bye.